share some slides, which keeps me on track so that I don't ramble. But first of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Bev Frowen. I'm the Bursary Relationship Manager in HIW. And I try and act as a source of information around the bursary. Ali, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Ali. I am the Bursary Administrator. I support Bev. We are a team of two and we deal with a bunch of bursary queries. And I hope you enjoy the session today.
Okay, and as you can tell, Ali is from Oz, so we're really, really grateful that she works with us in Wales. I've got two other colleagues joined us today. Denise, would you like to introduce yourself?
I will do. I'm Denise Parish and I head up education, commissioning and quality for pre-registration students in HIW.
Thank you, Denise. And then we've got Jacqueline from Student Awards.
Yeah, morning. I'm Jackie McClelland. I'm Deputy Student Awards Manager, where we administer all the bursary applications that the students submit. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Jackie. Well, I'll try and share my screen. It usually works, and then because I can't see everybody once the screen is up, Ali will keep track of hands up or, as you say, queries in the chat bar. Can everybody see those slides?
Yep, all fine here, Bev. Any issues, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is, as it says on the tin, this is a Q&A session for people who are starting their courses in Wales and are considering whether they want to take the bursary or they've taken the bursary and they just want to ask some questions. And generally, we try and answer as many as we can in this session, but it is the first engagement between the bursary team, Student Awards and yourself. So it isn't the only opportunity that you'll have to answer questions. Okay, this is the aim of the session, and generally it's a very important aim, which is for us to make contact with you, for you to understand that there is a dedicated team in HIW. There is Denise Parish, who does an awful lot of work as well with the bursary. And then there is our Student Award Services, who do the assessments. So it's to give you information about the bursary and how you can contact us, so that you shouldn't feel as if you don't know where to go to if you've got queries or you need advice. If you take the bursary, you will receive financial support for your studies, and in return there will be terms and conditions which we will expect you to comply with. So it's important that we give you some information about the T's and C's, so you know exactly the expectations in return for the funding support that you get if you take the bursary. And then really importantly is to just give you some links, where to go, how to find out more information, so that, as I said earlier, you shouldn't be in the dark as to where to go and find answers to your queries. Okay, so the format of the sessions, we've generally found that they work quite well this way. Some have lasted for an hour, as Ali says, some have been a lot shorter, but they're generally scheduled for an hour. They're Q&As. You can use the chat bar for your question if you don't want to put your hand up. If you don't want to use the chat bar, you want to ask us questions on a confidential basis or just on a one-to-one, then you can send in the queries after the session. And either Ali or myself or Jacqueline will try and get back to you directly through email. Our contact at the moment is via email. And we appreciate that lots of students can't make these sessions. It's impossible to try and set them up so that people can. There's lots of courses in different organisations, different universities around Wales. So we are recording these sessions. And with the help of our comms team, we'll be putting up the link onto the HIW Bursary webpage, so that you can access it, or people who can't make the sessions can access it as well. I'll say a little bit more about the HOW webpage later on. Okay, so some of these sessions are about if you're thinking about taking the bursary, because it is one of the ways that you can fund your studies, then think about, is the bursary the right option for you? And at the end of the day, this is your choice, and it's a very personal choice depending on your personal circumstances. So some of these are the things that we think it might be helpful for you to just think about when weighing up how you're going to fund your studies. Think about where you want to work and your ability to apply for jobs in different parts of Wales. The bursary isn't a guarantee of a job. We'd like to think that there are enough jobs available for you, and in the main there are, but it's not always the case. So the bursary isn't a cast iron guarantee that the job will come up in the right place for you. So think about that. Think about your personal commitments and your circumstances. Are you able to relocate? Are you free to work in different parts of Wales? If the jobs come up, and perhaps if the competition is stiff for limited number of jobs. Are you married? Do you have children? Are they in school? Do you have mortgages? All these things that might limit you to being able to find a job. Think about the type of job you want when you qualify. Are you expecting to be able to work full time? Have you got childcare and family responsibilities already that may restrict you into working just part time? Or are you able to do shifts? Think about the type of job and whether or not you'll be able to apply for them. And as I said earlier, we hope that there are always sufficient jobs for people coming out, but we have had instances where people have expected the jobs, and we can't do that. That is for the health boards and the trusts. They determine their service needs through their plans. And in the main, they are the people who generate the jobs. So the bursary team can't handle the recruitment and finding the jobs. In the main, as I say, they generally do, but they're not always in the right place. Okay, so things to consider, and again, this is just for you to make up your mind and to make sure that you get all the available information, because there are differences between the different funding sources. They'll have benefits and they'll have disadvantages. So really, the important message is to try and be as informed as possible about the two options. Will you be able to live on the money? Well, only you will be able to take a view on that. But try and make sure that you understand the differences and what you can apply for and what you can't apply for. Will you have other finances to fall back on if things get tough, if things get if they change? I think that's the same for any student, but it is important for you to realise that, you know, life changes. And what you think is now may not be the case in a couple of years' time. So will you have any finances to fall back on, or will you, like many students, will you look at picking up bank work or other jobs to supplement your payments? And can you leave the bursary? Denise is on the call today. In certain circumstances you can, but we hold these sessions when we do them now, because there is this 10-week cooling off period where you can decide to opt in or opt out of the bursary. And the 10-week cooling period is from the date your course starts. It isn't the date that you apply or that you get your letter saying. It is the date that the course starts, and that's different in different universities and for different courses. So there is this 10-week, and then Jackie is here as well, because we have had some questions about what if I go over the 10 weeks. So we can answer those questions as well. But in the main, you should do your thinking and choose your options within your first year. Okay, now you'll do all of that and you'll decide that the bursary is the right thing for you to do. And that's great. However, life gets in the way, life changes, and what your life and your aspirations are now may not be the same in 3 years' time. So the bursary policy and the T's and C's recognise that things can change. So it's got an inbuilt review and appeal system so that you can have your circumstances looked at, say they've changed, and you can discuss with us that maybe you're concerned that you can't comply with the T's and C's. And generally here, what we're talking about is what's known as the tie-in. And that it differs for different courses, but generally, say for a 3-year course, we would expect you, in return for the financial support that we've given you, and if there are available jobs, for you to work in the NHS for 2 years. And the T's and C's prefer you to work full-time in a permanent post, but that's not always possible. So there are variations, but in the main, there is a tie-in where we would like you on completion of your course to apply for suitable jobs and come and join us in the NHS. So that doesn't always happen. Generally it does, but it doesn't always. And so there are categories where you can ask for us to consider releasing you from that tie-in or extending it and giving you, not extending the tie-in, but giving you further opportunities to source jobs. Generally, there are 3 categories. I've talked about the jobs. Either there aren't enough jobs, and therefore, how can we hold you to that if there are insufficient jobs that are suitable for you to take up? Or you've tried your level best to get jobs and you haven't been successful, and that's probably because the jobs are oversubscribed and there's been really tough competition in that particular area. The other ones are if you become ill, and we hope that you don't, but that happens and people become ill and they are unable to go into a job, or they've had to take on new caring responsibilities, either for their spouse, for their parents or their children, or an immediate relative that wasn't there when you first started the course. So we recognise, so that even if you take the bursary, there is this inbuilt review and appeal system for us to consider on a case-by-case basis whether or not we would release you from the commitment to work in Wales. Otherwise, there is, in the terms and conditions, there is a schedule of repayment. It's only for the tuition fees. It isn't for anything else. And the schedule sets out pro rata repayment depending on how much of the tie-in you've done. But in the main, we hope that you go through your studies, you come out the other end and you join the NHS or other organisations that are suitable within Wales. And all of this is on the HIW webpage. Okay, that's really all I wanted to share with you by way of an introduction. And this is the important slide. There is a dedicated email webpage for the bursary queries. We don't handle all the queries, but we do act as sort of signpost to other people as well if we can't handle the queries. And that's hiw.bursary@wales.nhs.uk. Ali and I man that 5 days a week. We spend an hour every day going through queries. And so if you get something from the HIW bursary team, it's probably Ali, and sometimes it'll be from me. Occasionally we'll ask to follow it up with a call or for further information so that we can make sure that we help you. And then there's this web page. It's not as up to date as it could be, and we're going to try and rectify that over the next couple of weeks with the help of our comms team and our translation team. But we will be putting up there soon revised FAQ sheet the links to all of these pages, and also there will be a podcast, but that's for final year students as well. So just to make you aware that there is this web page that will hold important information like the T's and C's, a frequently asked question, and anything that we think is relevant, we'll be putting up onto that web page. So we're going to try and refresh it a bit because it's a bit out of date at the moment. Okay, well, that was a quick run through of what we wanted to share with you, just by way of an introduction, and then we'll sort of open it up for questions and queries. Usually they come in the chat bar. Money and everything else, it's Jackie and Denise, I think, and then anything about the T&C or any queries you have, Ali and I will try and help you.
Okay, nothing yet, Bev.
Nothing yet. Jackie or Denise, would you like to say anything while we give people time to think if they've got any queries?
So I didn't want to jump in before Jackie then. I suppose it's really to be clear about Jackie's role and the Student Awards Service. So they are there to support you with your bursary application process. So once you've decided you're going to apply for the bursary, and if you've already applied, and if you're having any issues or problems with your application, then you need to go to the Student Awards web pages, and the details are in there. From my perspective, then if there are, we also have a general sort of ed commissioning inbox, which I can share with you. I'll put that in the chat bar in a second. And if there are any queries, then please do email us. I think that if ideally what we tend to do in our team is we will ask the HEIs to provide us with the information. So we'll often send you back to the HEI to get them to go through the due process. So if you've got, for example, if we've got people that want to change their routes or whatever, you need to do that via your HEI because it's the HEI that makes the payments. So that's why we have to do everything through your university. So just to be aware of that. Sometimes I think students get a bit narked because we're asking them to go back to the university and get the university to process it on their behalf, which can be a bit frustrating. So yeah, it's the only thing that I wanted to say, really. Jackie, I don't know if you want whether you want to add anything.
No, I mean, you've actually covered what we do in Student Awards, and basically, yes, we deal with all the applications and withdrawals, returners, any extensions, and process them and generate the new award total. So, yeah, I just waiting for. I mean, like any questions that anyone's got in regards to these, I can answer if you have any.
While everyone is thinking, and we won't prolong it if we've answered everybody's queries, but perhaps I could share with you some of the types of questions that we've had. People have asked how long is it going to take to get their payments through? When do they get paid? And we've explained that student awards don't make the payments. It's the universities that make the payments. And you need to, because they're different depending on which university, so you need to find out from them when you will actually get your money. We've had people, as Denise has said, that partway through their course find for whatever reason that they need to leave the bursary. How do they leave? So we advise them that there is a process via the HEIs. And then that comes to Denise. I think that's correct, Denise. We've had others asking about what happens after the tie-in, which is way down the line after qualifying. I mean, because you've still got to do your tie-in. So we've answered some questions about that. Other people have asked, do I have to apply every year? And we've said yes, you have to apply, and the information is based on last year's financial information, and that you can apply anytime after April. I believe that's right, Jackie.
Yeah, so it goes on the last financial year. So September 22s will be assessed on financial information from April 22. Can I just say about the payments as well?
Yeah.
So the application process, at the moment it is 20 working days from we receive the application, so they submit everything, and once we receive the documents, their evidence to support their application, it's 20 working days from then, and we will run a payment schedule which we send to the university. Now, initially, when it's a new student, the schedules are sent as a bulk schedule for every university, which have all been sent so far. Any additional applications that are approved from then, we've agreed with the universities to make the weekly schedules so that we can have some sort of continuity with our assessors and everything, and get that 1 day a week. They're aware that we will send them 1 day a week, and they've agreed to that. So every Thursday, Friday, we'll send payment schedules over to the university when applications have been approved.
Okay, thanks for that, Jackie. Well, you're a quiet bunch. I must be honest, either that or we've answered all your questions. This is the last session, so we have got a bit slicker with it in fairness, but even so, there's no point in prolonging it if everybody feels that the session has answered their immediate questions. The important thing to note is there are people to ask. There are course tutors, there are people in your university, and then there's the HIW team, and then there's also student awards. So you shouldn't feel that you don't know where to go to for your queries. Also, if you go away from this session and something comes to mind, then you can always use the HIW bursary email, and we'll try and answer your queries there. So it just remains for me to say good luck with your course. I'm glad that you're training and that you've chosen to come and train in Wales. I hope you have a really good first year and you settle in. Everything goes tickety-boo, you get your money, all those sorts of things, and you settle into your first year and stay and continue through your course. And generally, I probably won't have anything much to do with you unless something goes wrong. But at least you know where we all are, Denise, Jackie, and myself. Okay, there we go then. We'll sign off the call, and I hope you have the rest of a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Bye then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.